What's up, folks? Canal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Interesting week last week. I apologize for the late video. Dude, I was doing it around noon. I looked outside, man, the water was just beautiful today. It was just one of those epic beach days. I had to get out there for a little bit, and frankly, I'm just getting in right now. So we got a late video, but it's never too late to do a little bit of studying. So interesting week last week. Thursday, big increase in volatility and a nasty big range bar. And then lo and behold, on Friday, it was like it never happened, right? And we didn't make back all the gains or anything like that, but we got back half the way. So we tested the 50-day moving average for the first time since this rally happened. So, having a bounce on Friday is not unexpected, right? If anything, it's to be expected. But we didn't kind of break back above. We got back in the range. And like I've been saying in these videos for the last, couple of weeks, I do believe we are entering kind of a period of maybe a longer term consolidation. Even if we break out, the rate of ascent will be slower than it was probably here. Now, there'll be still select stocks that are still really hot and so on and so forth, as always. But just, sometimes these things have to digest and they slow down a little bit. And, you could just kind of even grind higher, but you enter like a little bit of a distribution cycle while that happens. And that can very well be. Now, there's some interesting things last week. We had a spike in the VIX. In the old school wary, signals are happening right now. And so, there are some red flags in the market. So, back in the day, when gold would go up, silver would go up. Like, silver never moves, right? Silver was one of those things like a couple decades ago, especially in 2008. The hoarders, the doomsday preppers were getting the silver bars, and the silver bars were going even higher than the price of silver, on all these websites, right? And people were saying, in the end of times, silver will be the thing because it's got like an actual use versus gold, and then you can still use as monetary things, and silver never moved, right? Well, all of a sudden, silver's starting to make its move, right? It's starting to make its move. And, it had an awesome run in 2010. Man, I remember playing this thing. There was so many awesome little silver stocks going. Now we're coming out of this consolidation. Some interesting things happening, right? So the doomsday preppers are kind of coming into play. This is the weekly chart of gold. Look at this. 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, but it goes back, right? So the VIX is up 23%. So we have some interesting things. The market held, and that's the main thing. The market held. But there are some interesting things happening on the other side, which is, right, you got the commodities flying, gold's flying, silver's flying, the VIX is moving. And so we have to be careful. Yes, Friday was hot. It did erase a little bit of the damage on Thursday. But we have a lot of increase in volatility and some different things going on, more uncertainty. So you have to trade carefully. I do not think this is the spot where you go in big. What usually happens with new traders is they miss. There's a wall of worry in a bull market. So they miss this and they don't capitalize, and maybe they're undersized, undercapitalized, whatever. Or, they're just taking small gains. And then after months of going up, they finally feel a little bit more comfortable, and the market starts to even out and spikes get sold and all these kind of different things happen. And then they start increasing their risk and size as the market gets higher and higher, but you get less and less reward. And what ends up happening is you can lose all your gains from here, right, into this chop. And so you got to be a little bit careful on this. We don't want to do that. So let's just be a little bit careful tomorrow and the rest of the week. And there's still some awesome stuff to play, and let's get into it. But I do think, we just got to be a little bit careful with this kind of hanging. I would call this a hanging Chad, because the moving averages are curling down now, but it's still holding above the 50, which is the big one, right? So we got a little bit of a hanging Chad, and we just got to be careful of it. Let's get into the watch list here. So Disney, this 20 SMA pullback has been working a lot. So you have this big spike, 111, 23, right? Pull back into the 20 SMA. I think this one, if it can break back over the 90 MA, is going to be a nice one. Disney, you got to usually do it with calls. You don't want to be, you don't want to probably trade shares on this per se. It's too much of a gram. It was like 2% a day, right? But the calls move pretty good. You can do that. Meta, awesome relative strength here. It dipped off on Friday, just got bought up. I would consider this an inside day. Inside day setup has been working like a charm in this market. If you get a week open on this, we've got a red to green it. Now is a longer term break. This is more of a swing setup here, but this is another one. If it can come out of this little consolidation, I think it's going to be pretty hot. Sell H had a nice rebound on Friday, red to green. They had some news that they're opening some distribution in France in Q4. So, this is the hot little Monster energy drink kind of thing of the last few years. And, we had a really nice pullback from 100 down in the mid-70s. So it's pretty good. Typically in a momentum stock, that's usually a good spot, somewhere if you can get into this, 50-day moving average or a little bit above is a good spot. You got news on Friday. Let's see. This is a primetime candidate for red to green. SC, big push. Nice consolidation. It needs to break over this range here. Let's look at this like on a 30-minute basis here, right? You just got this right doohickey over here. So you're kind of right in a sweet spot, 55, 50, 56. I think we're going to be in the cards. Dude, after the big crashola on Thursday, we got a total rebound on Friday. Let's see what's up at this level on Netflix. That'll take it out if we can get there. Dell, a lot of relative strength. If we get dips on this, any kind of dip on this at the open, we want to be buying this one for red to greens. I think it's a good daily trader. ZS is still right at this 200-day moving average. I'm just looking for basically a reversal candle, some kind of something, right, to tell me that it's going to hold there. And then, I want to swing trade this, so I might add it into my IRA or something along that end. The old Donald J. Trumpster, this thing is probably, they're going to fade this thing off. Whatever his lockup is, I believe it's like September. Most likely they'll just keep fading this thing off, before he can cash in on it. That's the way these, people work these days, right? Everybody's got a little agenda. And, I think this one probably, these guys make no money. They lose money. They have no revenue. They lose revenue. They got all the shitty things going on it, right? It's still $2 billion company. This thing is going to get fade off. It lost half its market cap, probably lose another half, very soon. Let's watch any big pushes on this. We can roll this thing over. CCJ, this is uranium. This is, got a good breakout spot right here. We've got a level here around $50 or so. It may need one more day to tighten up with the 9 EMA catching up here, but I think that's got a good spot. ACB, we've caught shorts on this now a couple days in a row. Dude, wallet patter, money patter, nice little, some cash flow. It's a cash flow tray. Every spike up on this now, we're going to be shoving this thing off. You got 2 big reversal days. Gap this piggy up. Give me 758. We can even put some size on it. We short this thing forever. The thing with, pot stocks, they always go down. Look at this thing, right? It's been going down for years. This is no different. This is a zero. These companies are zeros. Potheads are obviously, dude, if you had any real money, you'd be doing coke, right? Like, nobody's doing pot these days unless you broke. If you got money, you'd be doing coke. Now, I don't do either because I'm a man of excess, but it's like the craft beer guys, right? Like, when they talk about, like, how good craft beer is, it's like, no. You only talk about how good craft beer is if you can't afford good wine, right? And pot's the same way. If you had some money, you'd be doing the cocaine train, man. Cocaine train. Now, Google held at the 9 EMA. After that big down day, you're into the bone zone. I'm thinking this is imminent breakout here. It's got a good look to it. Lactation station. No heat on it yet. I got an alert, 725. It gets there, it gets there. I still think this Qualcomm's going to break out here. I got a 175 trigger on this thing. If it could take out this kind of bearish engulfing candle at some point. Oh, this is the nice one. MU's going to be a trader here. Watch any gap down on this thing. If you any kind of push down, it was weak on Friday, into the 9 EMA or into this bone zone, I think we'll get ready for a flip. It hasn't tested the 9 since its earnings. VKTX, I've been putting this one on the list for a while, but it's just a matter of time before that thing breaks out. TTD, same setup as VKTX, right? It's like a little bit of a a grindy triangle thingamajiggy, but you got a clean level on this thing. Man, 86, 87, 88, 10. That, that's going to be the real spot. 88, 13. That's the spot, right? That we want to get really juicy on it. But if it starts to just marinate, right? If it starts to build a little bit under, a very strong pattern under, then you can preempt it, right? And you can preempt it and really flip it very nicely. So let's just be a little bit tight tomorrow. Guys, earnings season starts. Banks are coming up right now. Then it really kicks off with Alcoa. So look, we're talking a handful of days here. So we got JP Morgan, right? The Citi groups and all these things. Man, market's going to speed up here, so don't worry. Don't push it too hard next couple days. If you see the juicy McGee, we take it. But if not, we just let the Lord show us where we got to go, baby, right? Let's go have some fun tomorrow. Let's not do anything stupid. I love you guys. Peace.